Hey guys, it's Sam. Welcome back to my channel. So today I thought it would be fun just to film a really relaxed, kind of mellow tutorial slash getting ready with me video kind of a thing. Lately when I've been filming these, I've been very kind of limited or restricted in the sense that it's either been full face one brand or it's been, you know, using my most expensive makeup, using my most inexpensive makeup. So for this video, I just wanted to come on here and play with makeup, just grabbing a whole bunch of stuff that I felt like using. Now in Southern Ontario where I live, the temperature has started to drop. It's still pretty sunny out. Like today I think it was like 16 degrees, but I'm pretty sure that by the end of the week it's going to be going down to 0. Now when I say 0 for my American viewers, I do mean Celsius, not Fahrenheit, because that would be really cold. It is still like end of summer, start of spring, not spring, start of fall here. So I thought what would be more fun than just doing a really fun and easy kind of fall look. So I've got a bunch of stuff pulled out that we're going to be using. We're just going to get straight on into it. So for a primer today, I'm going to be using my Pure Correcting Primer. This is the Hydrate and Balance. Just because for me personally, I am very dry, I would say particularly at this time of the year, but actually I would say my driest period tends to be in the winter because that's the period when, you know, like I said, I do live in Canada, so we get those harsh winds, those really freezing cold winds that kind of just hit you and like zap the moisture out of you. They're like chapping your lips, your face, all of that stuff. So I just thought, you know what? Let's just start getting into a really good moisturizing routine and try and scale back the dryness a little bit. Normally, I would also wear a lot of like glowy primers, but again, for me, I like that more in the summertime than I do in the winter and the fall. I don't mind a little bit of glow, but in the winter and the fall, I like to play to a bit more natural of a look, something in like deeper red tones with a deeper lip. Also, I'm just using my Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer just in a few of the places that my pores are really obvious, I'll say. So that's kind of in my T-zone area and around my nose. For a foundation today, I thought let's just use this Bourjois City Radiance Skin Protecting Foundation Brightening Effect. I have the shade 04 Beige. I really like this foundation. I never heard anybody talk about this foundation like ever. I just kind of stumbled upon it one day while I was in the drugstore when I was trying to find new kind of glowy primers, and I thought, ooh, that sounds interesting. So I do really like it. It goes on in kind of like a thicker sort of a way, but it doesn't feel heavy. It kind of has the texture of like a sunscreen, I suppose. Like it's not it's weird because it's got a texture and a feel that's a little thicker, so it feels like it would be a little bit more heavy, a little bit more full coverage, but once you get it on, it's very light. It's very, I don't know, very color correcting, I find. Like, it definitely does cover up, you know, for me, I've got a lot of redness in and around my nose, a little bit around my chin, so it definitely evens all of that out. Just brings a kind of even tone. I guess I could zoom you guys out a little bit. We're not quite into the place where I like to be really close. Yeah, it's less so, I would say, of like if you've got a lot on your face that you're really trying to cover, I don't know that this would be the foundation that you would want to choose. For me, it's more about evening out and just giving you a really nice kind of flawless canvas to work on top of. It's got a little bit of a radiance effect to it, but nothing crazy. I definitely have other foundations that have more glow, more pearlescence in them than this one. For a concealer, no surprise here, we're gonna go in with my NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer first. I always just like to use that underneath my eyes because that's my area that I need the most coverage on in terms of concealing. Like I do some spot concealing, a little bit of brightening, but for me, my main problem, isn't that just the way it goes? Sorry. That as soon as I sit down to film, I start like losing my voice. And I feel really exhausted all of a sudden. Like I don't know why. I think because right before this, I was like out grocery shopping and I was running around trying to get a whole bunch of stuff done in the house before I sat down and filmed. Anyway, like I said, I do a little bit of highlighting, but not a lot. And that's a lot because mainly because my words aren't even making sense right now. I'm not a highlight contour kind of girl. I do highlight in the sense of like, you know, the normal places, but I don't know. Does that make sense? So I'm just using a few shades of my Urban Decay All Nighter Waterproof Concealer. So I've got fair neutral underneath my eyes and light neutral on the rest of my face for some spot concealing. It's one of my favorite concealers, super heavy duty, but doesn't look really heavy. I'm just gonna do my eyebrows super quickly. For that, I've got a Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil in the shade 2.5. I'm just going to kind of get that working while I let the concealer tack down a little bit. These are always the places in my videos that I want to cut out because I'm like, you guys have seen me do my eyebrows 100 bajillion million times. Like, do you need to see it again? But I also don't know how you guys feel about that, so basically what I'm asking is like, if I'm telling you that I'm doing my eyebrows, do you guys want to see me do them? Or is telling you what I'm using enough? Same can be said for applying eyeliner. It's like, do you guys need to see me draw eyeliner on? Or is saying for eyeliner, I'm gonna use da-da-da-da-da enough? You guys let me know. I'm all about like trying to do what you guys want to see from me. That would be very helpful. For setting powder, I'm just going to use some of my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. It is just my favorite ride or die go-to one. It never fails me. It never looks cakey. Obviously, because it's translucent, it's not going to change any of the color going into anywhere. It doesn't have a scent, which would be one of the downfalls of, say, like the Huda Beauty, like Easy Bake, whatever setting powder. This one is just all around really nice. It's nicely finely milled. It really stays for a really long time. Like I don't find that my makeup separates on me or creases or anything like that. It's just, you know, I feel like it's a cult classic for a reason. It's one of the ones that actually, you know, is not overhyped and deserves exactly what it gets, if that makes sense. For bronzer today, I'm going to go in with a little bit of a lighter bronzer. So I've got my Too Faced Milk Chocolate Matte Soleil bronzer. And this is just because like it is the fall. You know, no one's expecting you to have a crazy, amazing tan. Obviously, I do want a little color, a little warmth to my face, but I don't want anything over the top like I might want in the summertime. And again, this will depend on where you live. Obviously, if you live in California, you probably always look pretty glowy and pretty tanned and whatever. If you live, you know, in Canada, a lot of places in Europe, you might have a climate more like mine, where you do get all the seasons and you do lose a lot of sun in the winter time. For example, most Canadians, highly vitamin D deficient because we do not get sun for like a good chunk of the year. For a blush today, I decided to play with this MAC Glow Play blush. It's in Rosy Does It. I don't know why. I was kind of looking for more of a burnt orange blush when I started like trying to decide what to do. And then I came across this one and I thought, you know what? That's a little darker. I like that. And it just kind of gives you almost like, this is gonna sound silly, like that wind burnt effect because it is a little darker. It's definitely visible. I think I might have put too much on, but whatever. Anytime I ever put too much blush on, I always just go back in with my bronzer brush and I just kind of blend it out a little bit, blend it in with a little bit of whatever excess product is on that brush and just get rid of that harsh line. But yeah, it kind of just gives a really nice glowing kind of effect. For a highlighter today, I decided to go in with my MAC. Just gouged it like crazy. Oh well. My MAC Aladdin Always One Jump Ahead. This is listed as a powder blush, but it is like a golden kind of highlighter. Again, I wanted to go with something in a little bit more of like a fall tone. And for me, fall tones are like those goldens, orangey kind of tones, a little bit of like reds, that sort of a thing, into the more earthy kind of colors, at least here, because again, in Canada, we have, you know, if you're ever like thinking of coming up to Canada, I always say like, yeah, the summer's a really good time, but if you're planning on doing like a drive-through, to drive through a little bit of like, even just slightly north of where I am, I'm talking like up in the Kawarthas or the Muskokas and that kind of things. If you just like drive through some of the roads there in the fall when the leaves are changing, it is so gorgeous. The colors you see are just amazing. And I'm not trying to say that like there's other places. I know the northern US is like that as well, but definitely in Canada it happens often. And I can only really speak for the country that I live in. For eyeshadow primer, I'm just going in, I don't know why I showed you my finger, like that's gonna help. I'm just going in with my MAC Painterly Paint Pot. I'm just, you know, I'm not in the mood for fiddling around. Like I said, this video for me is gonna be one that I just get to play and do sort of whatever I want. I'm not testing anything in particular. I'm not, you know, doing wear tests or this and that. So I just am going with like a few staples and then also playing around with some things that I don't use as much. For an eyeshadow palette today, I wanted to use the Gingerbread Spice palette by Too Faced. This is the one that came out 2 years ago. I don't have the extra spicy palette, although I will say that they did just put out, I think, a little 8-pan like gingerbread spice palette that kind of, I have to look at it again, but it reminds me a lot of this one. And they also just put out a pumpkin, I can't even speak, a pumpkin spice latte palette, which I actually really like. I'm just waiting to see if it comes back in stock on Sephora, and then I might get it. So if you don't have this palette, no big deal. Just for me, these are a lot of really fun fall colors. There's a lot of those oranges and those browns, the greens, the plummy sort of tones. I also have a few just MAC single shadows. I have Boogie Babe, which came out in the Loud and Clear collection, and I also have one of the Powder Kiss ones. This is in Devoted to Chili, just if I want to go a little more down that red route. Alright, so now that I've got you guys all zoomed in, first color I'm going into is Gingerbread Latte. I'm just going to use that to kind of make a bit of a base. I don't really know where this look's going to go. Actually, at one point I even debated doing a very like sharp kind of a look. But I ultimately decided I was going to go in with a bit of a darker lip color. So as much as I want my eyes to have color on them, I don't want to go too crazy. And that's just me. That's a preference that I have, that if I'm going to do a really bright, bold lip color, I like the eyes to be a little bit more subdued. And if I am going a little heavier on the eyes, I like the lip to be a little bit more muted and neutral, just so that the eye, like, and by eye I mean like whoever's looking at it is really drawn to one place or the other. Like either you're trying to accentuate your eyes, you're trying to bring out your lips, something like that. Again, it's just a personal preference, but that's all makeup is. Like, there is so much snobbishness in like the makeup community. I'm trying not to segue too much, and especially like, you know, a lot of like, oh, you should do it this way, you should do it this way, that looks horrible, why are you doing that? But it's like, we all have different, makeup is subjective. We all have different opinions on music. Music is subjective, movies are subjective, art, very subjective, and makeup is just an extension of art, so it is very subjective. Something that you do on your face that I would never do, that I don't like, maybe there's another million people in the world that do. For example, highlighting and that really harsh contouring, I'm not a fan of. I don't think it suits me personally. I don't like it. Having said that, obviously it's a trend for a reason. A lot of people do like it, so do what you want, right? Makeup's just fun. That's all it is. And at the end of the day, it isn't permanent. Makeup comes off. Just a little me ranting. I'm gonna go into the color Spice is Nice. It's kind of like a little bit orangey. Just gonna pick some of that up on a bit of a finer brush and really get that deep into the crease. Not as high as that Gingerbread Latte. Just a little in here. The days that I'm like winded and like, do you know how I mean? Like, so you do some running around, maybe you're running up and down the stairs as I was today trying to put groceries and things away, and you never stop, so you never have time to just like catch your breath, and then you get talking and it never gets better, and it'll be like, probably by the time I'm done this, I might finally catch my breath. I'm gonna go in with this Powder Kiss one, I think this Devoted to Chili, and just do a little bit of it kind of on the outer portion of my eye. I just kind of want to see how it goes. So very pigmented. This is sort of the first time I'm really playing with it. I did end up dragging it kind of all over. I do find that it blends out really, really well because it is such a soft formula. But it kind of does like go everywhere. And when I say go everywhere, I don't mean fallout. I just mean it's not the easiest to pack and place on, if that makes sense. Now I am going to dip into a darker color. We're going to go into Reindeer Paws. It's like a nice dark brown. And I am just kind of in a patting motion going to put that kind of on my outer crease and a little bit up just to blend it all nicely. I'm just having a time today. I cannot tell you how many times I have like gouged into this palette with the backs of brushes and my fingers and just, oh god, I'm a disaster. Just a hot mess. So in terms of putting like some kind of a shimmery color, I'm gonna go in with Warm and Toasty. It's like a really pretty gold sort of a color. And I'm putting that more towards the middle and inner corner. And so I'm packing it pretty much there and then like flicking my finger in an outwards motion just so it kind of dissipates a little bit the further out I get into some of that orangey and brownish color. And there's another color in here, Hot Toddy, that I'm just going to tap really lightly kind of along the edge just to keep some of that glitter going without changing the color up too much. For under my eye, I'm actually going to go into Spiced Rum. No, it's not Spiced Rum. It's called Spice of Life. And it's kind of like a greenish, golden, glittery kind of color. Just pop that right underneath. Sorry. For an eyeliner color today, I am deciding to go with my KVD Beauty Mad Max Brown or any brown eyeliner that you guys have. This is just the one that I have personally. Before I do that, I am going to just take a little bit of Spiced Eggnog and just sort of tap that into my inner corner for a bit of brightening. And for me, I'm going to stay pretty close to my lash line. Just kind of like that. I'm going to do the other eye not on camera because it seems unnecessary. Now at this point, if you wanted to wing your liner, if you had a sharper eye look going, or if you wanted to use a black liner or a maroon liner or something like that, you could definitely do that as well. For a mascara today, I'm just going to use my Urban Decay Lash Freak just because I'm trying to get a little bit more use out of it, see how I like it, if I really like the wand or not. One thing that I will say is that because of the shape and style of the wand, it tends to pick up just a lot of product in a very uneven way. And it does take a little bit of getting used to because it is so different. I mean, like there's tons of styles of mascara wands. So you have like the really tiny ones that are more for your lower lash line or precision work. You've got your big voluminous one, hourglass shape, straight up and down, triangle shaped, whatever. This one is very, very different from all of those. It kind of reminds me of a Barbie hairbrush shape. So like anything, it just takes some time to get used to. For a lipstick shade today, I was really looking for kind of like a burnt red or a burnt orangey sort of color. So I think what I settled on is this MAC one. This is in Sugar Dada. Now this was limited edition. So if you're looking to recreate this look, obviously I've used a couple of limited edition products. There are other colors very similar to this. For example, something like Devoted to Chili is another matte color that's kind of like a rusty red. You could do something in more of like the pumpkin family. You know, I'm sure there's tons of brands that make colors exactly like this. You don't have to use this one. Also, I would normally recommend if you're going to be doing something that is like an orangey color or a reddish color, and you're going to be wearing it out and about, to use a lip liner underneath it. A lip liner will save you so much headache in terms of your lipstick slipping and sliding, and if you're eating or drinking, it'll save you a little bit of wear and tear on your lips, especially if you're like me and you fill your lips completely. I did not put a lip liner under this for a couple reasons. One, I couldn't find a color that I liked that went with it, and two, I'm not going anywhere, so if it wears off, it's not a big deal for me. Last step is going to be a setting spray. Now, weirdly for this, I don't know what drew me to this one. I don't know if I look at it and think of like a fun fall drink or something, but I've got my MAC Fix Bronze Lite here. Again, I wasn't going for a shimmery kind of a look, but I mean, I've got a bit of one right now, but I don't know, if you do it lightly enough from far away enough, it's not super overwhelming, so let that fall where it may, and I'm gonna call that look done. So for me, this is very, very fall, very like pumpkin spice latte-ish colored, reminds me a lot of like when the leaves turn. So yeah, I'm really happy with the way that this turned out. I got to play with a lot of products that I haven't used in a while, not for any particular reason other than that they get lost somewhere in my drawer. So if you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up, comment down below what your go-to fall lipstick is, what's your go-to fall look. Are you light? Do you like to really play into the beautiful colors? I think fall is one of the times of the year, again, at least where I live, where some of the most beautiful colors in nature come out. I just love it so much. If you are not already and you want to be, then subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye.